playoffs. And then, of course, that leads up into the Super Bowl. So I remember playing, my first playoff game. It was in the infamous Fog Bowl in 1988 in Chicago. But even before the fog came in, I knew what the ramification was, and listen to the veterans. And this is the time of the year when you say, well, it's not the summertime when we're in training camp. Y'all preseason games, it's not regular season games. The intensity level goes up a whole lot more notches from practice to preseason game to regular season game. And now your goes up even higher from regular season to the playoffs because you play the regular season to have the opportunity to get to the playoffs. Because if you just want to play 17 games and go home, what's the fun of that? Yes, it's a great life, and it's cool, but you want to be at the top of your profession. You want to be, that's why you go through the regular season to qualify for the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. Because in July, when training camps open, everybody said this is going to be our year for the Super Bowl. I don't care if you're the first team that picked in the draft or the last team was the Super Bowl champion. All 32 teams from 1 to 32, that is their goal when they open up training camp in July, is to be able to play January football because that leads to February football when they give out the Super Bowl. With that being said, I always say this: your regular season performance through 17 games are why you made the playoffs. Because you have more strengths than weaknesses. Now you get to the playoffs, the teams that do not advance in the playoffs are, because every team's got strengths and weaknesses, your weaknesses got more exposed than your positives, than your strengths, and that got you eliminated from the playoffs. That's what happens every year, every game in the playoffs, all the way till you get to the Super Bowl. And you look at last year's Super Bowl game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams, they both have strengths. That's why they're in the Super Bowl. They both have weaknesses, not as glaring, but that's why they're in the Super Bowl. And the difference of that ball game was the weaknesses got more exposed from Cincinnati than the Rams, than Cincinnati can expose the Rams' weaknesses. And that's how that's how hard it is to win, a Super Bowl and to win a playoff game. And like you look at yesterday, we're going to get it out. I know it's almost time to get there, but we're going to talk about the other game first. But the last game, the Chargers and Jacksonville.
Oh my goodness!
It was a game of two halves. The Los Angeles Chargers really, took advantage of the inexperience of Jacksonville, for a half. But the inexperience of the Chargers showed up also in that at the end of the half. They was getting in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns. And they gave them hope at the end of the half when Jacksonville scored. 27-0 is a whole lot better than 31-0. I mean, 27, then it's 27-7 at the half. Like, wow, maybe. And then the second half came, and, we're getting at the second. But then you look at, the Seattle and the San Francisco 49ers. If you look at that game through a quarter and a half, you're like, man, San Francisco's having their way. They're just imposing their will. A couple bad things go away, and then, man, here's the Seattle. They're driving the ball. They're driving, and they're going to come up short, and boom, they get a personal foul on Seattle, and then they get to kick a field goal to have the lead at the half. You're like, San Francisco, you clearly outplayed them for the first half. You let them hang around, then you kick a late field goal, go up by 3, then you go up by 1, and then you do some stupid on defense, and now Seattle goes into the halftime locker room with a lead. Like, wow.
It was on that sliding. Is when Gino went sliding down, and I forgot the name, Ward.
Right.
He went and just kind of led with the shoulder, and that was kind of a no-brainer, especially you can
just dive-vote him at that point. They're out of timeouts. There's not much going to happen.
And you can anticipate that he's sliding, so I don't even know why you even try to make that move anyways, knowing how ticky-tacky the referees could be. It was the right call.
You don't give them an opportunity to do that to you.
So it gave him 3 points, and they took that momentum into the locker room, but got to give Purdy and San Francisco credit. At some point, I think the reason they're kind of checking out on the Niners is because they keep waiting for, okay, there's no way Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant or whatever they call him. There's no way that this storyline can continue, right? Like, there's just no way. But not only is he getting better each week, it's not only that they keep winning with him, it's that he keeps getting better. That was his NFL playoff debut. That's why I asked you about what kind of nerve, were there nerves that you faced when you played in your first playoff game? But, knowing that those nerves are just that different vibe of a playoff game, how that can impact players, to see him kind of step up the way he did. I mean, you being a former player, watch that. I mean, yes, he's throwing to wide open dudes, but he's making the right throw. And he didn't make the right throws on everyone. He overthrew some guys on it, but he didn't let that, he didn't let that kind of get in the way of him stepping up on the next drive and making big play. 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Not just a rookie, Keith, but a guy that, was Mr. Irrelevant. This is one of the most unique storylines in football right now. And that's why the Niners, along with the Eagles, the 2 best teams in the NFC, that's for sure. So Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer, Keith Byars, live here at Frickers here in Miamisburg. We're going to get to some college stuff coming up around the corner. CJ Stroud, why has he not declared for the NFL draft? We'll get to that with Keith Byars and get his take on that coming up around the corner. By the way, we just got a new feature with the station. If you want to text the show, for those of you who have always taken advantage of the call-in number, 518-1410. If you want to call into the show, Brandon Williams is back in the WING studios. You can call Brandon and he'll patch you through to us here at Frickers in Miamisburg, and we'll get your take live on the air. Or if you're out and about and you want to text into the show, you could do that as well at 518-1410, 518-1410. Text us your thoughts on whatever we're talking about, whatever you want to talk about, and Keith and I will respond to those live here on the air. But yes, Mr. Irrelevant, the 49ers, your takeaways on that. Obviously, you being a big Eagles fan, they're the biggest threat to the Eagles right now coming out of that NFC, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this old adage, I'm just reading, cliches on locker room walls that when I was in Philadelphia, offense sells tickets at Brock Purdy. Defense wins games, and special teams wins championships. And, in that San Francisco defense, it really stepped big in that second half. I mean, like the momentum, even though, Seattle had the lead at the half, and, San Francisco came out and scored a touchdown, snatched momentum away and made it a 23-17 ball game. And you look how Seattle was driving into the red zone, into scoring territory. It's clearly in field goal on third down. Geno Smith gets strip sacked. Joey Bosa recovers recovers a fumble. Not only do Seattle not get any points on the board to make it at least a 23-20 game, it just snowballed.
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco got the ball, ran down, scored a touchdown, and then it was like Katie barred the door, from that point on, and they outscored them, 25-6 in the second half. And it was just like, wow, that's how quickly things can change, when you have momentum. And that's, we talk about it all the time on Friday nights, during high school football. You want to get Mo on your side, and when you have it, keep it. If you don't got it, go get it. And that's what the playoff football really bears down to, because it is these teams are so good. That's why you made the playoffs. So your strengths will keep you in, but your weaknesses will get you out. And Seattle's weaknesses, they have a good offense. They don't have a great offense, and you have to. And San Francisco has a strong defense, and they just imposed their will on Seattle. Seattle, their offense isn't meant to come back from 2 and 3 scores. It's built to be 1-score game, play it close to the vest. That's Pete Carroll's way, and let my defense step up and make a play, at the end. And I think if it would have came down to a 1-possession ball game, I think that game would have been a coin flip between Seattle and San Francisco, because now Brock Purdy has got that second half pressure, the fourth quarter pressure on him. But when it got to the fourth quarter, he was free swinging. Yep. Fairways look wide open. Just go out there and swing, pull the driver, hit it out there. You got good.
I don't like golf analogies right now because it's depressing when you walk out and just a couple more months.
We're getting close.
Of course, you always seem to head somewhere warm every once in a
damn while. Matter of time.
I got to find places that I can hit a ball into a big projector screen just to get me by while you go to all these warm places to golf. So, yes, jealousy is coming through here this Sunday morning, that's for sure. But the Sunday morning tailgate show live here at Frickers in Miamisburg. Text the show, 518-1410, 518-1410, or give us a call at 518-1410. Or we're also live on Facebook. Head to the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page or ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, and you can chime in the comment section below. We'll get to the Chargers and the Jags game coming up here in just a moment. But Keith Tolliver says, Kyle Shanahan, however you spell it, deserves so much credit. Your takeaway on obviously the jobs that he's had to do, obviously with juggling 3 quarterbacks this season. I mean, the Niners, like, I know I'm saying this shouldn't be happening because there's a lot of talent on that roster to overcome some adversity, but when you're overcoming adversity and the quarterback that's stepping in is playing as well as he is, I mean, yes, coach is always going to get the credit. Obviously, that's just how it works. Same thing with the quarterback. You always bring that up. But, I mean, how tough is that from a head coaching perspective when you're juggling 3 quarterbacks? I mean, Trey Lance was supposed to be your quarterback coming in. The guy that you dumped for him left the team, and then you signed him right before the season started. Your quarterback goes down. Garoppolo takes over, leads them on a run to put them in playoff position. He goes out. Mr. Relevant comes in and now is becoming very relevant throughout this run. This is one of the most unique storylines in football, that's for sure, as we close out the Niners talk before we head over to the Jags and Chargers.
Well, I think I always have to remind people from all the time, because we, in a hype age, teams win championship. We're going to single out certain people and certain individuals why they won it, but it's the team that wins, especially football is the greatest team sport. You can't have individual success without the team and, helping you along the way. So Brock Purdy, we said, look at him. He led San Francisco, but he's a part of it. He doesn't play defense, and 2 people get the most criticism and the most praise in the organization are the head coach and the starting quarterback.
Yep.
And so, Kyle Shanahan, he's getting a lot of praise right now, and deservedly so. As well as Brock Purdy, he's getting a lot of praise, deservedly so. But if they lose, he's that bad. He's that,
Well, Purdy is Shanahan. His safety blanket is Purdy because
his inexperience showed up.
Every win he gets, he's winning with the 3rd string quarterback, and every loss and the next loss that happens, if it happens this season, it's going to be, well, came so far without him. But I think what makes this storyline so interesting, and most times when your starting quarterback goes out, the team just kind of deteriorates. I think the Baltimore Ravens are a prime example. You have Lamar Jackson, who the Ravens are in first place all season long. Even when the Ravens aren't playing their greatest football, Lamar Jackson's their quarterback. They're in first place. They're taking care of business. Lamar goes out. They don't win football games. And then, last year they went from first to last in the final month of the season. This year, they just barely made the playoffs, of course, getting in the wild card round. They have the Bengals coming up later, but we're used to seeing when teams lose their starting quarterback, Keith, the team's success just derails completely. So that's what makes this Niners. I mean, take Patrick Mahomes off the Chiefs. I'm not saying they don't win a football game, but they're not the Chiefs. Take Joe Burrow off the Bengals. This team's definitely not, one of the top teams in football. So that's what makes this Niners thing so interesting is you take your first string out, your second string out, your third string comes in, and you still play at a high level. I think that's what makes it so interesting. But
that's why, the teams that stress the teamwork the best would do the best. You look at the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. I think they're probably right now that would be considered the gold standard of team efficiency. They lose their greatest quarterback in the Patriot history in Tom Brady. 2 years later, they're back in the playoffs. Like, wow. With a rookie quarterback, they made the playoffs last year. This year, they barely missed the playoffs. But it's the team concept, that comes through, more and more often when teams have success like that. And I think San Francisco, they are using that team concept, the same formula. I mean, their quarterback that got hurt, Jimmy Garoppolo, started in New England. Tom Brady got hurt, was out for the season. Jimmy Garoppolo came in. They went 10-6 that year. Barely missed the playoffs. The team, so Garoppolo's used to that. He's been a part of it, and I think part of that's one of the reasons why he decided to stay in San Francisco, to be a backup possibly to Trey Lance. And and Trey Lance gets hurt. Hey, I'm starting the game, and I would probably say Garoppolo's probably playing some kind of mentor role behind the scenes with Brock Purdy. Also, they get it when you get the team concept early in your career. It stays with you throughout. It will sustain you longer in the NFL. Whereas you have individuals, i.e. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco was all about himself. With the Bengals, he didn't care if the Bengals
won. There you are with your typical.
It's all
Bengals
about him,
Keith. Your typical Bengals.
I'll just give you some ammunition for this week.
I don't stand for that Bengals hate now. High standards.
And his game didn't travel very well, did it?
So it's not.
No.
All right, we'll transition. And by the way, we'll get into the Bengals-Ravens talk coming up around the corner. Obviously, a big one tonight between the Ravens and the Bengals. Not the matchup we had anticipated as far as the star power. You wanted Lamar versus Joe Burrow. Obviously, the game is missing a little bit of that flair because there is no Lamar Jackson. But the Bengals will have their hands full with one of the top defenses in the league, that's for sure. We'll get to that matchup around the corner. All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you're just joining us, by the way, Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer, Keith Byars, with you live here at Frickers in Miamisburg. We transition to the other NFL matchup. Yeah, I'll add you. We're live on Facebook, by the way. Head to the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page.
You can see me eat some chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, you get that chicken noodle, that's for sure. Let me make sure you're.
So I'm not making it up. I really do.
Yeah. But all right, so we'll move over now to the Chargers-Jaguars game. Again, the Chargers jumped out, to a 27-0 lead, Keith. No, my goodness, you talk about the fact that not only did Trevor Lawrence, we talked about all four quarterbacks making their NFL playoff debuts yesterday, and you talked about the different nerves that could, of course, impact how they perform. The thing that's interesting the most is we saw some guys step up and just rise to the occasion, and then we saw some guys where the moment almost seemed too big. Trevor Lawrence, 4 interceptions in that first half, and right away it was, it was a great storyline heading in, but obviously
did you call for benching him at any point?
He's not as good as people thought, and yada yada. And then what was one of the biggest choke jobs in NFL playoff history ends up turning into one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. The Jaguars, what a performance in the second half, were able to rally from 27-0 and come back to win 31-30. A game that we basically were kind of just ignoring the rest of the night, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the night, we're at a party last night.
I went flying to the hoops last night with my phone watching it.
Yeah, and
I'm like, look at this hand.
All my friends look at the TV like, what the hell just happened? Like, when this game? Like, we thought this game was over with, and the next thing you know, it's a heck of a classic performance. That's for sure for the Jags to come back and win.
Hey, man, I just said earlier, your strengths are why you make the playoffs, and your weaknesses get exposed while you're out of the playoffs. The running game. Simply the running game, got the Chargers going, home to. They never committed all season long to who's our back. We know who it is. It's Austin Eckler, but 13 carries for 35 yards. Those are yards between the two running backs. So they just wanted to sit there and just sling it all around, and you're not eating clock off. You're 25 or 43. That's not very good. Your pass completion ratio. That means you got a lot of incompletions and clock stoppages.
Yep.
You have to, run the ball. Even the Rams last year, they were a passing team, but they had to run the ball somewhat. And the quarterbacks get so much credit. Even for the Cincinnati Bengals this year, if the Bengals are talking about winning the Super Bowl, they're going to run football at some point tonight, to chew up clock. Yes, the short passing game helps, but you still have to run the ball. And it shouldn't be you're up 27-0. There shouldn't be enough possessions for the other team to come back and get you unless you help them out with turnovers and things of that nature. And Chargers didn't do that. They haven't, Justin Herbert didn't have any interceptions. They didn't fumble. They just didn't didn't eat clock. Ill-advised penalties and team lack of discipline. And, 15-yard penalties. Bosa had two of them, I think. I don't know how he didn't get ejected from the game. So the lack of discipline.
Yeah,
that's overall
Keith,
the reason that in the running game.
Keith Tolliver on Facebook, he said Joey Bosa's actions last night were obviously embarrassing, definitely childish. Should have. He said he should have just quit like his brother. I didn't read the whole thing before I put it up on the screen, but I'm sure you got a kick out of it. But no, anyways, that's a.
Come on now. We're talking about Sundays. We're not talking about Saturday football. We're not the guys that play in college. This is pros now. Even I talk positive about Michigan guys on Sundays.
But obviously just that, and for one, too, the thing that was interesting is the fact that the Chargers got the ball with about 5 minutes to go. Yes, over here. Thank you. We're live at Frickers, by the way, here in Miamisburg. Oh, but I think she's going to get it.
Oh, okay.
You can't eat your potato skins with your hands?
I can. I'm a professional eater. I can get it in my mouth.
But No, about 5 minutes left in the game, Keith, and the Chargers get the ball back. And I'm like, all they have to do is just run the football. And by the way, for me to win some big money last night on FanDuel, I needed Eckler to get 5 more yards on the ground, 5 more. And I'm like, oh, well, this is great. They're getting the ball back. They have a lead. They're going to want to protect that lead. They're going to hand it off. And a $10 wager, I could have won $240, Keith.
For $10?
For $10 wager.
Somebody had a wager out there.
A million or something like that.
But Trevor Lawrence needed to run for 10 yards or 15 yards.
Yeah.
Did he make it?
No. I'm not.
He had 8.
So
he had 8.
just came up short. So Eckler, I needed him to get to, I forgot what the total was, 50 total rushing yards. He finished at 45. But they're getting the ball back 5 minutes to go. I'm thinking, okay, they're for sure going to hand the ball off. They're going to eat clock, as you talked about. And you know what I mean? Like, that's a golden situation. They drop back 3 times to pass. You have the lead. And you know the Jags have all the momentum. The last thing you want to do, you want to hold on to that lead. You don't want to give the ball back.
That's Brandon Staley.
They've scored on every possession down the stretch. And the next thing you know, 3 straight passing plays, Keith. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Yes, I was mad that I lost my money, but forget whether I had money on the game or not. The bottom line is that's just bad coaching. And Staley came in with the target on his back, as far as a lot of people saying, hey, win or lose, he's probably out of here anyways. But I think he definitely put the nail on his, in the coffin as far as his head coaching tenure with the Chargers. And there's all these rumors of potentially out there, Sean Payton heading over there to run an offense, of course, with Justin Herbert, but just the coaching last night. Obviously, the players, you can't put it all in coaching. The players have to step up too in that second half.
But it starts with coaching.
Coaching decisions, just not putting them in position to close that out. That's on Staley, that's for sure.
I tell you, in my career, I was blessed to play for great coaches, from Buddy Ryan, Don Shula, Bill Parcells, and I learned a lot from each one of them. But I learned the most from Buddy Ryan, because that's my introduction to the National Football League. And with my rookie year, we go 5-10-1, and Buddy Ryan is yelling at us in the locker room after games. You guys don't know how to win. You don't know how to win. And I'm like, well, don't you teach us? But he was teaching us how to win. Little small finite things like that you don't always get the first time, but you have to learn the lesson. Brandon Staley, how many years he's been in charge? He's been there at least 3.
I think it's year 3.
What are you teaching him? Justin Herbert is a young quarterback. Are you teaching him to win? Because I don't think you are. I mean, what quarterback don't want to throw the ball every time? But Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, with the Patriots. He was throwing a little over 200 yards a game. It was about let's win with defense and a running game and ball control. Brady wasn't throwing for 300, 400-yard games. He made, you go back and look at those stats and look at him like, wow. But he gets a lot of credit when your team wins. So Brandon Staley needs to learn how to win as a head coach, where he's going to learn to somebody else watch, because I'm firing it behind if I'm the head coach. And not saying he can't ever someday, be a head coach again, but these opportunities don't come that often. Making the playoffs are not a given. It's only 14 teams make the playoffs. 7 from each conference, each conference. Hey, you're one of the top 7 teams. It's not a given. We get them next year. Next year ain't always promised.
Keep in mind, too, this is also a situation where, like the Bengals have done a fantastic job of maximizing the time that they've had with Joe Burrow on his rookie contract. The Chargers got Justin Herbert at the same time. We're talking about Lamar. The Ravens have wasted his time under a rookie contract, not putting weapons around him. The Chargers put weapons around Justin Herbert. And by the way, depending on who, your opinion of how you rank quarterbacks, most lists you see have Herbert as a top, anywhere between a 5 to 7 quarterback, just from a talent perspective.
Yeah. He's top 10.
Yeah, so you easily, put. You've had the opportunity to put weapons around them. They have a top 10 defense. And the fact that last year, did you know, Keith, last year they were the only team to be ranked in the top 10 in offense and defense efficiency and not make the playoffs last year?
That's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
That is very hard to do.
Teams accidentally make the playoffs now just for having a balanced offense and defense, and the Chargers found a way to be out. I think he has to go. And I think what makes it even more easier of a decision for the Chargers is that Sean Payton's waiting out there. Sean Payton wants to rebuild what he did in New Orleans. And what he had in New Orleans was a big playmaking quarterback in obviously Drew Brees, and he had big-time wide receivers. He had weapons and had a complementary defense. That's the Chargers, and Drew Brees was a small quarterback. Herbert's a big quarterback with a big arm, and he has big weapons around him. And, the Chargers wasted their opportunity with him on his rookie deal, but they need to get Sean Payton or someone in there, whether it's Eric Bieniemy, an offensive-minded head coach. Get someone in there that is going to maximize the offensive weapons that they have, because the Chargers are a sleeping giant, in my opinion.
What you just said to me, I had an epiphany. And you're talking about Sean Payton. We talk about players and egos, and players have egos, no question about it. But it also helps you when you play in a major market.
Yep.
Sean Payton had the success he had in New Orleans. Great market, but it's nowhere. It's not New York. It's not Los Angeles. It's not Boston and New England area. It's not that. It's not a major. It's not Chicago. So if Sean Payton, if he's, he'll get somebody like the Chargers to pay the King's ransom to New Orleans to bring him there because now he has a bigger platform. That's why we talk about Shanahan in San Francisco.
Yep.
McVay with the Los Angeles. You get way more attention in those bigger markets. So Sean Payton wants to go down to one of the best coaches of all time. What better place to do it in a major market team
with a top
with a heck of a quarterback.
And big weapons on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have it all. I remember earlier in the season when the Bengals were kind of struggling early, I said, keep in mind, I think if Sean Payton comes out of retirement to coach, which he was alluding to early, I was like, man, you look at the Chargers and the Bengals, I think those are two. Everyone keeps bringing up Dallas. And look, as Dak's a very solid quarterback, but people keep talking about, well, he's going to want to go coach in Dallas. I think it's going to come down to which quarterback he wants to coach. If he wants to freeze his behind off in Cincinnati to coach Joe Burrow, he'll do it. If he wants to, live it up in Los Angeles because of Herbert, he'll do it. And if those two teams are not good situations and the best one is Dallas, he'll do that too. But I thought the Bengals at first were going to be a good option for him just with the Bengals struggling earlier in the season. Obviously, Zach Taylor has earned the respect of a lot of people with being able to put back-to-back great seasons like this together. But yeah, Los Angeles makes all the sense in the world for a Sean Payton. And by the way, they have the money to do it, especially if he's asking for 15 to 20 mil.
Our greatest coaches of all time, outside of Don Shula, who coached in Miami, they're from major marketplaces.
Yep.
George Halas, Chicago Bears. Even Lombardi. He's the outlier in Green Bay, but even he came to Washington his last 2 years of his career. Major market. Bill Belichick. New England. So all those things are contributing factors. You want to be great. So why would Sean Payton come to Cincinnati? That's a moot point now. But New Orleans is bigger than Cincinnati as far as ego, and ego is a great deal. Why are you talking so much about ego? Ego is a great deal. It's just motivated. These guys want to go down as legends. It helps to be, in a major market where you can get that attention. I mean, you had the Cincinnati Bengals with one freaking Hall of Famer. That's a travesty.
Well, yeah,
that's a different subject, but that's a travesty. But that's one of the reasons why, you get overlooked.
Talk about the market impact. And last thing here before we close out this part of the show, but they did a pop-up one time because there was Jerry Jones doing his typical. It's about he has to reevaluate the performance of McCarthy and all this stuff. Who we talk about Sean Payton, who's might come back to coach and is asking for 15 to 20 mil, and he's going to get it. They put their win-loss records side by side. Sean Payton and McCarthy. They have the same winning percentage. They each have one Super Bowl. They have the same. I mean, their resumes are identical. But yet the perception of one coach, because it happened in Green Bay, obviously with the high-profile quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and then the other coach who you talked about, New Orleans being a little higher up there, but to go do that in Los Angeles to separate Sean McVay, they talked about that too. His win-loss record, it's not popping off the page at people. It's not like he's the best win-loss coach in the NFL, but in Los Angeles, you're winning. Won a Super Bowl last year. He's going to be have a statue out there because he brought a Super Bowl there. And I think the same thing with Sean Payton with the Chargers. That's for sure. So, yeah, Jody Van Winkle, he says it's all about the quarterback on Facebook. He chimed in, too. And that's really, like I said, yes, the market. You're right, the market.
It's the marketing, but teams.
Yeah, he's not. But to be fair, he's not going to Los Angeles to coach a third-string quarterback or just a bridge quarterback.
No, Geno Smith, if he was with the law, he's not going to coach Geno.
Yeah, he's not going to go. It
wouldn't happen.
All right.
Well, that's not a slam on Geno by no means, but
it's not. That's not a once-in-a-generation type of quarterback, and a few teams have them, that's for sure. All right, Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars. We are live here at Frickers in Miamisburg. It's the Sunday morning tailgate show. A lot of NFL playoff talk today, of course. We're going to get into the Bengals and Ravens preview coming up in the next hour. But when we come back, tomorrow is an interesting day. Tomorrow's an interesting day because, yes, it's MLK Day, of course. But
his birthday's actually today, but we celebrate tomorrow.
On Monday. I think we just do that just so we can enjoy a day off work. Is that what it is? But so tomorrow a big day, of course, because it's the deadline to declare for the NFL draft. And every big name that we know is going to the NFL next season has declared. But there's one particular name that has yet to declare, and there are a lot of rumors, not reports. I want to make sure I specify that I'm not pushing reports out there. I'm pushing rumors out there that are circulating that have Buckeye fans really buzzing right now. CJ Stroud is the biggest name that we know is going to the NFL or think is going to the NFL that has yet to declare. Tomorrow's the deadline.
I thought you were going to say his name after the break.
Well,
I thought it was a tease, but it's not a tease.
Why hasn't CJ Stroud declared for the NFL draft? Is there a possibility that he could return as the Buckeye starting quarterback in 2023? It is 2023, but this upcoming season, we'll talk about that. We'll get former Buckeye Keith Byars. We'll get his take on this whole situation. Is the NIL that everyone despised all of a sudden going to be a big fan of it if it's strong enough to keep CJ Stroud in Columbus for one more year? We'll talk about that. We'll be right back. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers in Miamisburg when we come back.
You'd never knowingly feed your pup mystery meat or spoiled grocery store food, so why are those some of the most common protein sources in kibble today? Yep, the dog food ingredient meat meal can be made of spoiled supermarket meat and packing plant scraps.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. Your dog needs a biologically appropriate diet similar to what they would eat in the wild. That's why I developed Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw food made with premium cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
Daly is 12 years old. He has been on your food for 9 bags now.
Nature's Blend is pantry safe and has 0 artificial preservatives, additives, filler, or meat meal.
He's got more energy, able to run around and play when our grandson comes.
For a limited time, save 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free pack of premium dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/Marty or text Marty to 511-511.
I can't thank you enough. He's 12 and I'm enjoying every day with him.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 1 additional text. Text stop to opt out.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life, call 800-444-9336.
The wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is officially live in Ohio. You can now legally bet on all your favorite sports teams anytime, anywhere, right here in Ohio with DraftKings. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with code WING1410 will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays, player props, and more with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers can use code WING1410 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Valid one offer per first-time depositor who have not already redeemed $200 free bets via pre-launch offer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as bonus bets. Eligibility restrictions apply. See dkng.co/OH for terms.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
All sports. All the time. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
1, 2, 3.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars with you here live on this Sunday morning, live at Frickers here in Miamisburg. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to jump in on the conversation. If you would like morning. And we'll be out here every Sunday morning throughout Super Bowl Sunday, so keep that in mind. If you want to come out and check out the show, you could do so. We only have a couple more weeks. We'll be live throughout Super Bowl Sunday, and then we'll start it again all next year. My favorite part of the show is, of course, when we start this, Keith, it's always, right at the start of college football season. And, of course, we always open up the show talking Ohio State and college football Saturday, and then we transition into the big slate of games for NFL Sunday, of course. We opened up with reaction to yesterday's first two games of the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Obviously, the Niners' impressive performance from Brock Purdy. They get the win over the Seahawks, and then the amazing come-from-behind 27-0 come-from-behind win that we saw the Jaguars perform over the Chargers. And we'll get into today's slate of games coming up here around the corner here shortly. I want to talk a little Buckeye football, mainly because what the heck's going on with CJ Stroud? Let me ask you. I mean, obviously, it was a big decision for you when, you were ready to go to the NFL. You took the second you were eligible to go to the NFL, you declared for the draft, of course.
Well, no, I didn't declare. I had to wait 4 years.
You had to. So when did that change to 3?
That happened in the 90s.
In the 90s? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
But let me ask you.
I would have been gone at the moment.
You would have been. Okay. So, but if you were, after your junior year, obviously, and rightfully so, I mean, you were bigger than most NFL talents to begin with, anyways, even in high school. But thinking how the NIL world has kind of dominated over the last couple of years, and it's really starting to take off this year. This is year number 2, and teams are starting to kind of get their feet really entrenched in it. We keep talking about NIL from the perspective of how to get players to come to your team. But the one thing we're starting to see now potentially is, oh, man, what can NIL do to keep a guy on your team? And I don't mean entering the transfer portal. I mean declaring for the draft. We talk so much about, players sitting out of bowl games, meaningless games, because they don't want to risk a career-ending injury in a game that really doesn't matter. They want to go to the NFL and make their money. CJ Stroud is going to be a top 5 NFL draft pick. I mean, it's not really up for debate, but yet he hasn't declared for the draft. rumors circulating out there that an NIL package has potentially been put together that's in that $4 to $5 million range, and that he's weighing his options. He can go make that $34+ million over a 4-year stretch with his rookie contract, or get $4 million for 1 year and then enter the NFL next year. I don't know what decision he's going to make, but he has 24 hours to make it, Keith. Are you surprised that we have yet to hear the name CJ Stroud declare for the NFL draft at this point?
Absolutely. I'm surprised. And let me preface anything I say after this is I'm selfish. I want him to come back.
Yeah.
That's
all
me
do,
being
right?
selfish.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put my selfish pride aside, right now and look at it, from CJ's point of view and a few different angles. I think we have a tendency, to push kids out of the nest too soon when we see success. Like the Eagles, the Eagles nest. Hey, you got to learn to fly. Get out of here. Get out of here. And maybe they need to stick around a little bit longer. I mean, you go back to, the talk. You look at last summer, which it seems like so long ago. It was only 6-7 months ago. Man, Travion Henderson, he's had a heck of a freshman year. Is he ready for the pros? He's going to be first round talent. He's only played 1 year college. Let him develop. I mean, and Ohio State, has got a reputation. They ain't just have. They still have a reputation of not developing quarterbacks to turn into, great NFL players. And I think that's unfair, but that's not Ohio State's job. Their job is to prepare them. And then once you get to the pros, that's that coach's job to help prepare you as a quarterback.
Yep.
I think, Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul, if he'd still been living, I think he would have been very, he'd been starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year or some NFL team. He would still be in the league. And who knows, I think he would have, developed in, something right now. So it's tragic to lose Dwayne Haskins. You look at Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields done a heck of a quarterback job in Chicago, and he has nothing. And he's, developed. So CJ Stroud, if he decides to, go pro, I don't know what situation. He may be in Indianapolis. He may even be a holdout in Houston. I don't know. But he's going to, go somewhere well. But I'm thinking back to last summer when Ryan Day made a comment. He said, to keep this current roster, we're going to need at least $13 million. And
maybe he didn't mean rosters in the future. Maybe he just meant this dang roster.
Well, that's what he was talking about. This current Buckeyes, not guys we're trying to recruit for the 23 class. He was talking about the ones that are, this is before, the recruiting, he said that. Now, of that $13 million, does that mean CJ Stroud's going to get $5 million and we're going to spread the other $8 million amongst the rest of the current roster? Possibly. I mean, and with, that's minimums. I mean, there's no, so I don't even know how we would track it. But I know by the Michigan game, I had read that CJ Stroud had already made $2.7 million in NIL money. That was before the Michigan game. Now
you hear that, Michigan? That's how you avoid getting in trouble for buying players hamburgers. The Buckeye players could afford their own hamburgers.
They can afford their own. So here we are post Georgia game. I would think that CJ Stroud is probably just threw at least another million into that current 2.7. He's probably made close to $4 million this far. And whatever, all the different deals that he has going on, social media, is a big deal for those guys. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into too many numbers because I don't want to disclose certain things I know, but I'll say this. It was a player on Ohio State's team last year that made $250,000 just by making posts on social media. I won't say which platform or which player it was. And that was last year when you just said we're still getting new into this. But I think
market was being set, and it still is technically set. It's the feeling out portion.
So CJ Stroud has to make a decision. Do I want to go pro right now? Am I ready? And we definitely, I think he's ready, but is he all the way ready? Physically and mentally ready. He's physically ready. And only he has that. I mean, if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't have to go. I mean, Tim Tebow played 4 years at Florida, and he had already won the Heisman. He didn't win the Heisman his senior year. He won it was a sophomore or junior. He had won junior year. He won the Heisman. Tebow was hot as he could ever be, but he decided to go back to Florida to try and win too. He didn't win it, but he decided to come back. And nobody beat up Tim Tebow for that. I mean, and so if CJ Stroud comes back, he's coming back with two major things in his mind: win national championship, other is win a Heisman Trophy. and money's not there. Money's going to be there.
Yep.
I mean, so how much? I mean, if he's going to probably make, I don't even want to get at least $3 to $5, $6, $7 million if he comes back to Ohio State. And he's going to make that.
More in the NFL? Yes, but I think this is a situation where we just paint you athletes as, well, it's just money and money only. But if what NIL has created is an opportunity for you to still make $4 to $5 million, throwing out random numbers, make those couple $1 million in the short term, and you still get to enjoy that college experience. And then guess what? Now it used to be before you had to make that jump because that was the only time you could make that money. Now you can get a couple mil, which is insane. A couple $1 million while you're in college, still get that college experience, come back, maybe win a Heisman, maybe win a national championship, get that big win over Michigan that has been just kind of eating at him since he's been at Ohio State. There's so many things I think from a competitive standpoint he's looking to accomplish, all while making money at the same time.
We talk about injuries, and there's something I don't really talk about a lot because it was sometimes I forgot about it. Is that worth mentioning? Way back in 1985, going into my senior year of college, I took out an insurance policy on myself. I took out $1 million insurance policy. So if I had gotten hurt my senior year and I couldn't play football anymore, I had $1 million coming. That was in the 80s. Because I was insurable. So is CJ Stroud. If CJ Stroud decided to take out, I'm sure he probably already has one, but he can always increase that policy. The insurance people can probably speak to that. He could take out not a life, well, of course that, but an injury, a policy, assure him if he has a season-ending or career-ending injury, if he comes back to Ohio State, who wouldn't write him a contract for $25-30 million? They don't cost that much. I mean, they cost, but it's something that he has the money to take out insurance policy. When you come back, you get injured. When you have a career-ending injury, that can happen in college. That can happen in pros. So I'm sure he's going to protect himself. So if he has a career-ending injury, he can still go fill in the blank. Lloyd's of London. There's a whole bunch of different insurance companies that will honor that because they're going to be getting their premium and everything else. When he can take out a $30-40 million and boom, and still be taken care of for life if he has an injury in college. A lot of times, they have those. Those they don't necessarily have them in the pros because you already been paid well enough, that you can get that. But that would be something else. But I think overall, CJ Stroud's decision will be a football decision. In business, like, do I want to go to these particular teams? I mean, when John Elway came out, he wanted to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Don't draft me. I ain't going to play. I'll play baseball before I come there.
Yeah.
And they drafted him, and then he didn't, okay.
There's a chance.
Then they traded him to Denver.
There's a chance he could end up in Houston, and I don't think that's a landing spot that anyone's really wants.
Right. It's been a dead zone somewhat. So he has those options, but know this. If CJ Stroud comes back, and I'm not going to say I hope he comes back. I already spoke that. But I hope he does the best decision for him. I'm more about CJ than – and as long as he's happy, I'm happy with every decision that is. But if he decides to come back, I think you about make bank that we're going to lose at least one of our quarterbacks. Cal McCord or Devin Brown is gone.
Yep.
I'm selfish. Like I said at the beginning. I want them all to stay. But it also, you look back when we – decided when Dwayne Haskins was quarterback, Joe Burrow said, I'm out. We had to live with that and live with the results.
And that speaks
to
the depth that some of the key positions that Ohio State has, obviously at wide receiver, running back. I mean, you talked about the depth at the running back room. I mean, my goodness, they have depth at so many different positions. Obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, defense, they're looking to kind of continue to build that up. We'll get to that later. But
yeah, we didn't mention anything about new offense coordinator.
Yeah, so
I don't know how much that position is going to hold. I mean, is he going to really be the offense coordinator?
Yeah, well,
Ryan Day, be quiet and let him call plays.
So, with that in mind, the thing that I find interesting, before we get to the Brian Hartline thing.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Can I get a refill of Coke?
So, the one thing I find interesting, too, about the entire situation with this as well is we forget, so there was kind of like, oh, man, after that loss to Georgia, it was like, oh, man, that run, not the run is done. The Buckeyes don't rebuild. They just kind of reload. It was like you keep forgetting how young this roster is. CJ, if he comes back, he's eligible for the draft, obviously. He has till tomorrow to declare. But if he does come back, I mean, now we have CJ Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr., Ibuka, Stover announced he's coming back. I mean, my goodness. And then, the running back room. I mean, my goodness.
Evan Pryor will probably go one of those slot positions.
So, and then
he was running back.
So the depth is just going to continue. I shared a little bit ago, so I guess in the NFL, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson became the first pair of college teammates at wide receiver to go to the NFL and each have 1,000 yards in their rookie season. And I said, my goodness, if you think about last year, you had Chris Olave, you had Garrett Wilson, you had Jackson Smith and Jigba, you had Marvin Harrison Jr., you had Julian Fleming. And to lose those 2,000-yard college and now NFL wide receivers, and to not miss a beat because of the depth at wide receiver, CJ Stroud coming back potentially for another season with the weapons that they have, or whatever quarterback for the Buckeyes. Clearly, weapons will not be an issue for whoever is under center for the Buckeyes.
So now so Justin feels like, you saw me, you may want to stick around and wait. What kind of receivers they got down there?
Yep.
Because I wish I could have taken some of those Buckeye receivers to Chicago with me.
So,
why did they draft any of them in Chicago? Jeez, Pete.
They didn't add receivers. They had the one good receiver they had. They got rid of. They literally gave to him. I mean, I know he got hurt. He didn't really play.
I call that setting the quarterback up for failure.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars, live here at Frickers in Miamisburg. If you want to give the show a call, you can at 518-1410. 518-1410. Brandon Williams is back in the studio. Let's see. Let's go to, I think we have Tennessee Jeff on with us. Tennessee Jeff, I'm just seeing the message. My apologies if you're still there. You're on live with Justin and Keith. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Just another Sunday in the off season. So no problem. I'm driving. I'm really glad I got on because what a better person to talk to than the guy that, went pro, Keith Byars, and he knows. So I don't know if I have 3 minutes, but I'll go until you shut me up. There's a lot of layers to this. Am I still on?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yep, you are off and rolling.
Okay. A lot of layers on this. I think the only people that really probably know would be Kim, his mother. I would imagine Ryan Day and CJ. Let's just compare. Let's go with Justin Fields' contract. I looked at it yesterday, and I think it was a 4-year, almost $19 million deal with an $11 million signing bonus. And nobody knows. I'm not going to start spewing numbers, but I did read and it's pretty solid. 4.7 or something like that ballpark as far as. By the way, isn't the NIL great? I'm kidding. I hate the NIL and I hate the portal. But if this, like you said, Justin, 40 minutes ago. I don't know. I was kind of grumpy after the Michigan game, and between that and the Peach Bowl, I just was being kind of grumpy on social media, and we lost again, and the NIL and this and that. So no, it could actually help us. So if you compare the two, right? And I don't know how the insurance policy works because I never played pro ball. Keith, and you just said if this kid can really sign, if he can, let's say we get him for 4.7, just throwing a number, right? And he's already made whatever he's made before the Michigan game, and he gets another 4.7. The Fields deal was 4.6 a year, right? It averaged because it was a 4-year deal with an $11 million signing bonus.
Correct.
And we don't know what if he really likes the college experience. What if he has, and then you got to think of his offensive line. We lost a lot of offensive line. You got to think of that. You got to think of the Heisman. My guess is Caleb Williams will be the favorite to win the Heisman, although it is tough, as Keith probably can tell you, to win the Heisman 2 years in a row. There are a lot of things that have to fall in place. You got that. You got. I want to win the Heisman. We got at Michigan. You got great supporting cast. I believe Kyle McCord. You nailed it, Keith. I believe Kyle would leave instead of Devin. I think Devin would be. I just think Devin's a better quarterback, a better option. If when in fact CJ leaves, there are just so many different things you have to think about. And my guess is, wouldn't you have to? I mean, the offensive lineman. You got to think about injury, don't you, Keith? I mean, as far as if these O linemen that we just lost 3 starters, and how good really is this new O line coach? I don't know. Can he recruit? Nobody really knows. He hasn't really done a whole lot. The guy from UCLA, I can't think of his name, Justin Fry. So there's a lot of layers to it. Do you want to win the Heisman? Do you want to come back and play at you're 0-2 against Michigan? Do you want to win the Heisman? Do you want to try to beat Michigan up there? Do you want to try to make another run? Because we are once again loaded. So I'll just hang up and listen. But there's a lot of layers to it. And my guess is, I don't know why he's waiting till the last day, but I just don't see him staying. I know nothing. I just don't see this kid staying. Why? After he laid it out in Atlanta, and I watched it right there, brother, I'd be stunned. But I was also stunned when Cam Newton, I think it was Cam Newton and both Tebow came back, but I don't see it. But can I ask a question before we hang up? Keith, what would benefit him to wait to the last day? Why would he do that?
Well, I mean, because he's simply on the clock. If he doesn't know, he doesn't know. I mean, so don't rush to make a decision 48, 72 hours after the Georgia game and he's unsure. Just be sure whatever the decision he makes. And I think whatever he says between today and tomorrow, one thing for certain, he's taking the time and it's well thought and he's all in. The last thing that you want to be is half in, half out on either level, especially on a pro level. If he's in pros and saying maybe I should have stayed around in college another year, it's too late. But if he's in college, maybe I should have went pro. Maybe I'm going to save myself. That's not good either. So, I don't want to, run. I don't want to do this. I may get it. You can't be out there half in, half out. So I think the decision that he's going to make between now and tomorrow, and it's going to be 100% my decision. I'm totally committed to Ohio State. I'm going to do everything I can to help us win the game and win a national championship. Or I'm 100% at Ohio State, but it's time for me to go pro. And then he's going to be 100% going pro and not thinking about woulda, shoulda, coulda. I could have won the Heisman. I could have came back. That just doesn't happen. And so I think he's going to make a definitive decision. And I think Ryan Day can have some input. And I think it's going to come down to CJ Stroud and his family. And that would be my final. Don't let agents get inside. Well, you need to do this because agents are selfish. They want their own money. So I just wish CJ make the best decision for CJ because, that would be the best. When he decided to come to Ohio State, he had options. And that's worked out well for him. And I think the same mindset now, do I want to go pro or do I want to come back to Ohio State? Is up to CJ, and I think he can't go wrong with either the decision because of the things I stated. That would be in place, and I'm not worried so much about the offensive line. I just more worried about the offensive line and the offensive philosophy. We haven't brought up Brian Hartline's name. He's been named the new offensive coordinator, and I hope Ryan Day mentioned it toward the end of the season, after the season, that he's just going to just be the head coach and allow the coaches to coach and just oversee it. It would be the manager
You've been
of the
wanting
team.
that.
I've been wanting that for
saying that
4
for a
years.
while.
So I want Ryan Day to do that. I think we'll get the best of Ryan Day, and I think the defense will improve with real oversight, and the offense will improve with real oversight. That is Ryan Day's job, is to oversee them and pay more attention, and that will also help the team total discipline, penalties, and things like that. And then as a head coach, he can make his emphasis and points more effective from above than being always down in the trenches and getting lost and losing focus on the whole team. So he can focus on the whole team from above and down to being in the grunt, trying to see it, see the forest from the trees.
Yeah, again, Brian Hartline elevated to promoted from wide receivers coach to obviously the offensive coordinator. But now again, with that, you've talked about this. There's so many titles on the, there's so many coaches on the sideline that, you always wonder, like, okay, which of those guys is dire? Do you obviously need Brian Hartline. He's done a fantastic job as wide receivers coach.
Well, I think Tony Alford's done a hell of a job too. I would have liked to see him get the offensive coordinator's jobs first, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I would really like to see Tony Alford be the offensive coordinator. He's been there longer than Hartline.
And it's one of those two where obviously Hartline's getting a lot of attention from other schools. Not saying that he hasn't, but like it's one of those where it checks off a couple boxes. Obviously, gives him that promotion, it gives him a raise in pay, obviously, and it gives him a bigger title, and it kind of secures him for a little bit longer, of course. But at the same time, it kind of checks off that perception box, the one that you've been talking about, where this is only going to be effective, right, if he's the play caller.
Right.
If Ryan Day is still the one calling the plays, then you're just putting a new title on him to appease him and give him the raise and all that. I mean, but
you got to step out of the room. Let them do it. I mean, I've been around some really good offense coordinators. One of the best offense coordinators I had in my career was a guy by the name of Gary Stevens. He's offense coordinator for Miami Dolphins. And we had Dan Marino as quarterback. and Don Shula sat in probably 90% of the offensive meetings. And we would be in some of those offensive meetings, and Gary Stevens would make his points, and Dan Marino would make some points, and them two would actually argue. I mean, screaming, name calling, back and forth at each other in front of the whole offense. And Shula would sit back and let them go at it, and then Shula was fine. Okay, I've heard enough. And then he would intervene. And when Coach Shula speaks, everybody be quiet and listen. And then sometimes he's going to be on side with Marino. Other times he's going to side with his offense coordinator. Because one thing is for sure, both of y'all want success on this particular play that you're arguing about. And sometimes you need an overseer to come in to, okay, these are strong opinionated people. They're passionate about what they're saying, but somebody has to make the final call. And then when the final call would be made, almost always, if they didn't work it out amongst themselves, Shula would step in, and then that'd be like, okay, we get it. He's the head coach. That's what he does. And then he would, sometimes leave out our meeting and go over the defense. They didn't have as many strong personalities on that side of the ball, but Shula had his influence.
Yep.
And he oversaw the whole team, maybe in special teams meeting. That's the job of a head coach. Do that. But Parcells did that, was a great motivator in coaching that area. So if Ryan Day wants to step up and go another level in the coaching ranks of being thought of as one of the greatest coaches in Ohio State history and certainly college football, he has to be the head coach and make that adjustment as a coach.
All right, Justin Kinner, Keith Byars, live here at Frickers in Miamisburg, the Sunday morning tailgate show. We'll be right back. We'll pick up with this on the other side. If you want to give Brandon Williams a call back in the WING studios, you could do so now, and he'll patch you through to us here, and then we'll take your call. Of course, you could also text into the show. Call or text 518-1410. Your thoughts. Will CJ Stroud return for the Buckeyes in 514-10? Text your thoughts, and then text your thoughts on Brian Hartline being promoted to offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Braves, my goodness. The Ravens and the Bengals. See what I did there? I combined them.
Yeah.
Bengals, Ravens coming up later on tonight, the finale of I shouldn't say the Super Wild Card weekend because, the Cowboys and the Buccaneers technically will be the finale. But Sunday Night Football, the Ravens and the Bengals tonight. It's not the quarterback matchup we wanted, of course, with no Lamar Jackson, but obviously a AFC North divisional rival matchup to determine who will advance to the divisional round. So we'll get to some NFL talk coming up around the corner as well. Justin Kinner, Keith Byars will be live again when we come back, live here from Frickers in Miamisburg when we come back.
The wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is officially live in Ohio. You can now legally bet on all your favorite sports teams anytime, anywhere, right here in Ohio with DraftKings. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with code WING1410 will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays, player props, and more with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers can use code WING1410 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Valid one offer per first-time depositor who have not already redeemed $200 free bets via pre-launch offer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as bonus bets. Eligibility restrictions apply. See dkng.co/OH for terms.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing.
I don't have any cravings.
You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. No irritability, no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, January 26th at the Holiday Inn Dayton Fairborn, I-675 in Fairborn. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or January 28th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Dayton South, I-675 Dayton. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh, that's harsh.
More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with the free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Science proves quality sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed senses your movements and automatically adjusts to help keep you both effortlessly comfortable. And it's temperature balancing, so you stay cool. So you're at your best for yourself and those you care about most. Life-changing sleep, only from Sleep Number. The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $899. Save $200. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Keith Byars, live here at Frickers in Miamisburg. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Or you could text 518-1410 as well. Again, Justin Kinner, College Football Hall of Famer, Keith Byars, live out here at Frickers in Miamisburg. We just got done just kind of giving our thoughts on the whole CJ Stroud situation and whether or not he will return for the Ohio State Buckeyes next season. Thank you so much. But NFL playoffs now. We recapped what happened yesterday.
Playoffs? You talking about the playoffs?
Absolutely. Oh, real quick, Mark Smith. Shout out to Mark Smith, by the way. He said, good afternoon, guys. He thinks it's the unfinished business with Michigan that, is kind of keeping him, that's kind of really on the mind of him. Of course, that, he would love to get that Heisman. He's being a runner-up. Obviously, the NIL money helps. And talk about, do you think he wants to be the number one draft pick? I think that, by the way, he's worthy of being the number one draft pick. I just think you have a team that doesn't need a quarterback with the number one overall pick. I think that's really, you know what I mean? Like, you can't determine.
Yeah, you can't determine.
Yeah.
I mean, some years the number one pick is an offensive lineman.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's a Detroit now. Penny.
Yep.
Penny, Penny, right? For the Detroit Lions, they drafted him, and he was a third player pick.
Penny Sewell. Yes. Yep.
That can happen. An offensive lineman can all of a sudden be the number one pick of the next year's draft.
Could be Will Anderson, the defensive. Oh, well, you meant next year's draft.
Yeah, 24.
So, it could be one of those where, the
defense
Chiefs,
player, right.
the Chiefs, Bills, or Bengals have their star quarterback out for all of next season due to an injury, and now they're all of a sudden so bad without him that they have the number 1 overall pick. Well, they don't need a quarterback the following season, so they won't draft one. But anyways, you see my point. You can't control what teams' needs are at that slot.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance of going to get taken care of financially from NIL, and now you can afford to do that competitive thing where, well, I want to come back, I want to win that Heisman, or I want to beat Michigan, or I want to win that national championship. I want to do all of those. It basically, to sum up, it's called having your cake and eating it too. To where before it used to be you had to have your cake, but you couldn't eat it because you risked not having any money at all if you had a big injury. Now, if you get an injury, you talked about the insurance policies, but also, you want that NFL career, but my goodness, if something happens that you can never play football again, that NIL of $4 or whatever the million number is, you're not coming away empty-handed, I guess, and gambling to further your career. I think that as much as we hate NIL from a fan perspective, I think we're starting to see guys who are willing to come back extra years because, hey, Spencer Rattler's a prime example. Now, we're not big Spencer Rattler fans. That's a quarterback that would be taken in that 3rd, 4th round. He has a 3rd or 4th round grade. He decided, you know what, I can go to the NFL, make my money, or I can go make my NIL money, maybe improve my draft stock and make even more money in the long run, having his cake and eating it too. I think that's what NIL has done. I think it's going to keep stars in football longer. I don't think it's going to push people out.
Eventually, like you said, we're still infancy of NIL. But you take a quarterback like CJ Stroud, and he plays 3 years at Ohio State and getting paid from day one. Those guys going to probably, you average it all out, they probably made $3 million a year.
Yep.
Maybe not $3 million your first year, but it may, like what was CJ could probably make $5-6 million, and we just speculating on low numbers.
Taking that money into the NFL.
I'm just talking about this year.
Yeah.
If he comes back to college. And then you add up how much did he make at 3 years at Ohio State? Probably be over $10 million.
Over the long haul.
Over the long haul. I mean, as the years go by, we'll have more of a projected numbers. Right now, I think the average 5-star edge rusher is garnering when he gets steps foot on campus at least $500,000-$600,000.
Yep.
From from the first day one. When they get there, by the end of their freshman year, they've probably made 7 figures. And then you track that over a 3-year period. If they leave after their junior year, they're going to probably make over $10 million. Who wouldn't mind starting a job, your next, your profession, and you already made millions of dollars. I think it's safe to say, Justin, when you came out of Wright State and got in the radio, you didn't have millions of dollars already invested from college. Is it safe for me to say that without fear of contradiction?
No, I mean, my favorite part about college was it was refund money season. At the beginning of the semester when all of your student financial aid, it covered all of your tuition, it covered all your books, and then there was no better feeling as a college student than when you had that, you checked your bank account. And there was that direct deposit of all the leftover refund money.
Yes.
Oh my God. I used to think, man, when you get that $1,500 of refund money, I'm like, I don't have to work this whole semester.
Woo-wee.
Now, that's nothing right now, right? Like, it's just insane. But yes, no one's has money in college, or what money they do have, it's all relative to, of course, your situation, of course. But
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but if you had a job, whatever your profession, well, you could be to graduate top of your class in engineering, you don't have $10 million in the bank when you graduate, when you walk across stage. And that could happen for a lot of, college athletes.
In college, you're not being paid to master your craft. That's what's happening now.
Yep.
So, and I think that's what's pretty interesting. So, nonetheless, all right. My wife is leaving. Bye, Nora.
I miss Nora.
But that's interesting. We appreciate everyone who's chiming in, by the way, on the Facebook side of things. We will be live on video moving forward here Sunday mornings throughout Super Bowl Sunday, so just keep that in mind. You can also text the show at 518-1410. Last Buckeye note here, pretty cool to see that Ryan Day was, at Springfield. Him and Mo Douglas were hanging out at Springfield High School the other day. So that's pretty interesting as well. But that's not, again, the talent. We see it every Friday night here in the Miami Valley. And Springfield was loaded, and they've been loaded for quite some time. But
we got to get someone to get on 70 East and stop in Columbus.
Yep. So
that talent.
Obviously, the state of Ohio has been more of a priority recruiting-wise for this Buckeye coaching staff, of course, and you're starting to see that. But I've seen more Ryan Day pictures with local coaches in the last 2 to 3 years than that stretch with Urban. And by the way, I'm not saying Urban did it incorrectly. You know,
right?
Winning national championships, you're a constant championship contender. I don't really care how you make the food as long as it
Yeah,
tastes
but those
good.
photos go a long way.
But
Go a long
it's
way.
yeah. So there we go.
Well, you said Ryan Day. I'm saying Ryan Strong. Who Day? I'll give him a who Day.
Yep.
He's on his way to the Bengals game. He's getting there off Fleur. He must going to be tailgating real early.
Yeah, he was one of our winners for the WWE Monday Night Raw. Is going to be in Cincinnati tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
And Ryan Strong, who's heading to Cincinnati now, big Bengals fan. Seeing people think that I have a bias towards Bengals fans. Actually, I don't really get to select the winner, but I could, make sure the Bengals fans don't win any prizes here. I really don't have that power, folks. But Ryan, yes, one of the winners for the WWE Monday Night Raw.
Congratulations.
But
He's
yes,
got a heck of a weekend to get a bingo game and WWE. Don't want your bad self.
Speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, the Ravens, a big matchup coming up.
Shout out to you, Jody. I don't want to overlook her. Jody, her or him, not sure.
Oh, yeah, earlier he said.
Was he? Okay.
He said, we're really stepping it up now with the Dayton legend, Keith Byars. So there you go. He's jacked to have you on the show here this morning. Of course, on the show. This is your show. Obviously, this is what we've done for years now.
Well, since Jody's texting us, what's going to be the star ingredient at the tailgate at the Bengals?
Yeah, Jody.
Your Bengals tailgate. What's your what's the star ingredient? Is it the chicken wings? Are you going to go down to a pork loin or what?
Yeah, Jody,
shrimp?
do you lead in the comment section on Facebook? Jody, do you lead your own tailgate? Do you jump in on someone else's? What's your tailgate strategy?
You said it's a liquid only.
Liquid only. It's called. Man, that's
okay.
That's called pregame.
Pre-gaming.
That's a night. It's a night game tonight. My goodness. I tell you what. My goodness. So okay, we're gonna step away.
He's jumping into somebody else's tailgate.
Yeah. And that's smart, too.
All right, ready-made. Let's clean up.
Yep. We're going to step away for a few moments. When we come back, it's all Bengals talk to close out the show today. Bengals, Ravens. Even I picked the Bengals
I like
to win
this. We
this
can talk more directly, quicker to the fans.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. That's one of my favorite things about doing it this way. But absolutely. 518-1410 or jump in the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page or ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel so you could watch us live here at Frickers in Miamisburg, or come on out and hang out. NFL playoff action all day here at Frickers in Miamisburg. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, folks, we'll be right back. More of the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show live from Frickers next.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce can be complicated, especially if children are involved. If you're a father and want to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Dayton area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Make the big game sound even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors, short throw projectors from 100-inch to 130-inch, all the way to your high-end dream system. Audio Etc. has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back-ordered or out of stock. Get special deals on a TV and your dream system today. Audio Etc. can bring any big game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. If you can't afford your dream system, check out our huge selection of vintage and pre-owned components. Audio Etc. Powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of. 551 Congress Park Drive in Centerville.
Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom.
Menards has everything you need to light your home. Combine stylish lighting with the advantages of LED technology with Fight Electric dimmable light bulbs. The vintage look is ideal for open fixtures, and the traditional design creates a warm, contemporary feeling. These 60-watt equivalent bulbs are available in soft white or daylight and last 5 times longer than traditional incandescent light bulbs. Save big money on your energy costs with Fight Electric dimmable LED light bulbs at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
People of the world, I am Chef Jose Andres, and I'm here with an important message. I'm speaking to you from downtown Curzon. As tonight gets dark, people are going to go to their homes without electricity, without water, and very often without much food to eat. This winter is going to be brutal not only for the people of Curzon, but for many, many Ukrainians all across Ukraine, but especially in the places that they've been recently liberated near the front lines. The people of Ukraine right now are fighting for freedom. We're here with a very simple ask. World Central Kitchen will be able to keep doing the work we've been doing over the last 8-9 months with your support, with your help together. I know we will not leave the people of Ukraine alone.
Donate now at WCK.org.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
Oh my, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right, seminars Thursday, January 26th at the Holiday Inn Dayton Fairborn I-675 in Fairborn. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 28th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Dayton South I-675 in Dayton. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey, Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh, that's harsh.
More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with the free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kenner, Keith Byars with you here live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Ball finale, so keep that in mind. And that's what we're kind of closing out the show today. Again, Justin Kenner, Keith Byars, giving you our thoughts on that matchup. It's been a fun start to the playoffs. Obviously, yesterday's games are really exciting games. I know that the final score of that Niners game shows a blowout. You know, man, that game's not interesting. But that was the Niners pulling away late, dominating in the second half, taking care of business. And then, of course, what looked to be a very boring game to start, and the Chargers 27-0 lead over the Jags. What a heck of a comeback, coming all the way back from behind the way they did to get that win. 2 good games yesterday, 3 games on deck for today, Keith, including your former team, the Miami Dolphins. Shorthanded, though, no Tua Tagovailoa. They're going with the rookie quarterback today, of course, also making his making his NFL playoff debut. I don't think anyone is picking the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't have a shot today. I mean, there's not one single soul out there willing to pick the Dolphins.
You sounded like Jacksonville don't have a chance to come back last night, and they came back. It's starting to sound that way. You never know.
So the thing that's interesting about the Bengals-Ravens matchup and this Bills-Dolphins matchup, the reason that it's so one-sided as far as why everyone's picking the Bengals and the Bills, it's not, yes, they're the better teams, obviously, but it's because the Ravens and the Dolphins both without their quarterback. You know, I don't know if we see what happened last night with Jacksonville if they don't have a star quarterback in Trevor Lawrence or whatever. But the one thing about both of these matchups, the Bills matchup with the Dolphins and the Bengals with the Ravens, these are classic examples of trap games, Keith. I mean, I can't tell you all week.
I know it doesn't sound like I said that in the playoffs.
Yeah,
does it?
but all
trap
week,
playoff games.
all week, it's been nothing from Bengals fans about their matchup with the Bills, and I don't blame them. I'm very confident in the Bengals' ability to win today, but it isn't. You're right. We don't talk about trap games in the playoffs. This is, I mean, every team there. But I feel like the Bills have a trap game with the Dolphins, and I feel like the Ravens that's a trap game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Bills fans, they're all looking forward to the Bengals in the division round and vice versa. But 2 trap games, in my opinion, here on this Sunday. Very interesting.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is the 3rd playoff game we're about to watch, Buffalo and the Miami Dolphins. That means there's 6 quarterbacks that are starting these games. 5 or 6 making debut.
Yep.
That has to be an NFL record. It never happened. The NFL debut is their playoff debut is 5 of the 6 starting quarterbacks so far. I mean, and it's going to continue in the Minnesota and the Giant game next.
With Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones be his playoff debut. Kirk Cousins has played.
That's the
first time.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, and Skylar Thompson for the Dolphins.
That's 6.
That's 6 of the 14 teams.
6 of the 14 teams.
Quarterbacks making NFL debut. I mean, last year we saw Joe Burrow make his NFL playoff debut, and well, his playoff debut
ended in the Super Bowl.
Ended in the Super Bowl, of course. So is that the case for any of these quarterbacks? That's still yet to be determined. But 2 trap games today. I think that both teams still come out on top. But man, if they don't come out with that intensity, the Ravens are going to play desperate, as will the Dolphins. If the Bengals come out a little light, and if the Bills come out a little light because they are already assuming they're advancing,
right?
That's how upsets happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I said on Friday to close out my show, I said I expect to be talking Bengals Bills on Tuesday, but I won't be surprised if we're not. Let's just put it
look at it this way. Also, if I'm Buffalo, expect everything out of Miami.
Yep.
And if I'm Miami, we empty in the playbook. We have nothing to, nobody's giving us a shot. You're going to see trick plays. We're going to do, we're going to go for it when you think we're going to punt. We're going to do all kind of stuff. And now that's going to lose. Buffalo's going to make them focus on a whole bunch of things instead of the fundamentals of basics. Hey, let's worry about what we do, not what they're going to do. Whereas the Dolphins, well, we know we just can't go toe-to-toe with this team and beat them. We're not at full strength. So we're going to divide them and conquer them and try what we got to do to win the football game. It's going to come down to coaching early in the game, probably not at the end, but early in the game, coaching is going to have a lot to do with it, because if it gets down to coaching later in the game, that's advantage Miami, because you've done a good job to still – you get them to go into the 4th quarter, and it's a one-possession ball game one way or the other. You've still got a chance. That's if I'm Miami Dolphins. That's my goal, is to get to the 4th quarter with a chance to win this ball game. And God forbid everything goes in your way and you're up by 2 scores going into the 4th quarter. Even better. But if I'm Buffalo, hey, everything I said, only opposite. We got to be up 3 scores going into the 4th quarter. We don't need 2 scores is not enough, because 2 scores, this team think all we do is score and we got a chance. It's not over. We've hung this long with them. So if I'm Buffalo Bills Mafia, the crowd has got to get in this game early and often. And by the beginning of the 3rd quarter, the Dolphins know it's just don't have a chance. Like with San Diego, with the Chargers should have did last night.
Yep.
You was up 27-0, finish the half off strong, go to halftime 27-0. You get in the ball in the 3rd quarter, finish them off. They're ready. They can't wait to quit. But you give them hope. And that's all. That spark turned into a flame, which turned into a forest fire. That's what we're going to watch. So setting the tone early in this game is paramount. Is very paramount for the Buffalo Bills. If as long as the Dolphins hang around, they got a shot.
Yep, and that same situation, of course, with the Ravens and Bengals as we close out the show here today. I think the Bengals are going to come out on top. The thing that's interesting is the Ravens in both matchups this season. Joe Burrow has thrown for low 200s. He hasn't diced up this defense like he did last year. This defense healthy. This is the strength of the Ravens team. I think the Bengals have the tougher opponents between the Bills and the Bengals matchups coming up later on today, or about to kick off right now between Bills and Dolphins. But the Ravens, they're well coached. They have very solid defense. They've won ugly all season, and they're going to have to win another ugly one today, because no matter whether it's Huntley or Brown or whoever their quarterback is, the one thing we know is it's not Lamar. And when it's not Lamar, this offense is not potent. It's not deadly. It's not dangerous. It's very predictable. Expect a lot of J.K. Dobbins going up against that Bengals run.
And that eats up clock. Today. If they run the ball, that eats up clock. That limits the amount of possessions.
Yep.
Keeps the limited amount of possession.
So your thoughts to close out? Who comes out on top? Bengals, Ravens. feels like an easy one, but your thoughts on that matchup tonight?
Well, it won't be easy because it's playoff football. You can't take anything for granted. Now, you don't do it in the regular season, and you doubly don't do it in the playoffs. I think the Bengals are going to learn from the mistakes of others. They watched the Chargers game last night. That ain't going to be us. Let's get the lead and keep it and put them away because, we're supposed to win. We're at home. We got them in the jungle. Let the jungle take effect.
All right, good stuff.
Give them
folks.
jungle fever.
So tomorrow, no shows tomorrow. Martin Luther King Day tomorrow.
Happy MLK Day.
Yes, absolutely. And
Great man.
We'll be back on Tuesday. As far as the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, will return on Tuesday from 3 to 6. And the Keith Byars Show, which is usually on Mondays from noon to 1, will be this Wednesday. And it'll be live on Facebook. So make sure you follow the ESPN Dayton and the ESPN Dayton YouTube channels. Of course, that's where you could tune in. So there you go. Folks, thank you. Have a great rest of your Sunday. I'm not doing a Who Day, but I am picking the Bengals to win.
I'll do it for you.
So, yeah.
Who Day?
There you go. There it is. All right, folks, have a great night. This has been the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show live from Frickers in Miamisburg on 1410 ESPN Radio. Thank you, Brandon, back in the studio, by the way.
Finish your bathroom renovations with a new HomeWorks bath fan from Menards. This bath fan features a Bluetooth speaker, so you can enjoy your favorite music or listen to news, weather,